Hey folks, Brandon here. Now I realize that I've been putting off this for a very long time now. A few months ago I did a video on how I wanted to look back or on movies that I already reviewed or already covered, and I asked my friends which movies they would like me to take another look at. And of course the one that got the most votes was the Balto sequels. Of course I have the old VHS here, and I have a sort of a bootleg DVD of Part 3, which unfortunately does not work anymore, but thank God for Netflix. And I watched them both today, so I have a full, real opinion on them. The reason why I put off this video for so long is the fact that, of course, I moved. You can see that the background isn't the same as in the Do the Right Thing video. I have to focus now more on going to college. I will not be attending college in the Florida Keys. I'll be taking it outside the Keys on my own. But that's besides the point. Let's get to the review. When I first did the review of Balto, and I looked back on my old thing, good God, my voice was nasally, I said that Balto 2 was decent, but got boring halfway through. And also, this will be a two-part video. I had to explain both movies in great detail to get my opinion straight out. So, of course, the first video, I'm going to cover Balto 2, and then part 2 will be about Balto 3. So, back to the movie. Balto 2, I will agree with one thing that I said in my own opinion of the movie, and that's Balto 2 is okay, but it certainly isn't boring. I feel like the reason why I said that the first time was that we watched two videos that night when I watched Balto 2. There was one other movie, I guess it was called Sea Spot Run, I do not remember, and after that we watched Balto 2. It was pretty late at night and we were both very tired, so I take back that statement about it being boring. Balto 2 is a decent little film, but it has huge problems. The sequel follows Balto and Jenna's children. They have puppies, and of course one of them being Alu, who is the only one of the pack that looks like Balto, who is part wolf. And when she finds out about this, she goes off to figure out who she is, and Balto has to go and try to bring her back home. This is, of course, a decent little film, but let me explain the good things about it before I really get to the real problems with it. The voice acting's okay. Of course, none of the original voice actors are back. No Kevin Bacon, no Bridget Fonda, no Bob Hoskins. The guy playing Balto now is a guy named Maurice LaMarche. I believe he does a lot of voice work, and he did pretty decent here. I feel that there are times when he actually sort of sounded like Kevin Bacon, sort of. The one person I did have a huge problem with, though, was Alu. Not necessarily her character, but her voice. Her voice sounded like they had the same voice actor who played her as a puppy, and they just kept her out throughout. Her voice is way too young for her character. It doesn't work well. The animation in the movie, of course, being a direct-to-DVD sequel, is not as on par to the first one. And of course, I hate to say it, but it really looks like that the people who did the Land Before Time sequels did this movie. And it is some decent animation, but the 3D graphic things they add in kind of look out of place. The one thing that they do add in this movie, which is pointless, and unfortunate to say that there are a lot of pointless things in this movie, is they add songs. Songs do not belong in a Balto movie. And when I mean songs, I'm talking about people singing and dancing. That doesn't belong in a Balto movie. It's like the first Land Before Time. There were no songs in that except for the one at the end credits, which actually worked, just like the first Balto movie, which did the same thing. But they added songs in this, and the songs are okay, they do, but it just doesn't feel like it belongs here. It doesn't belong in a Balto movie, especially a sequel. But the main problem with this movie is its story. It does not feel like a true sequel to Balto. It doesn't feel like this should have been what the sequel to Balto was about, like most sequels. Balto 2's story is about Alu looking for self-enlightenment or something like that, trying to figure out. She knows what she is, but she doesn't know who she is. Does that sound like something to expect in a movie like this? I mean, it's not really is and such. It's a kind of a self-spiritual journey, but it isn't very fulfilling, it isn't very exciting. Not to the point that it's boring, but it just isn't very interesting. Halfway throughout the film, which I will not go on and spoil the entire thing for you, it goes from a father-daughter rescue from Balto looking for Alu to finding with this wolf pack, and this wolf pack is trying to figure out whether or not to leave their land to go and follow the caribou. Of course, there's this one wise wolf who's like a tribal guy who listens to the spirits saying, the spirits told me that we must go and follow the caribou and lead out But then there's the bad guy, who's the new steal of this movie, who was played by Mark Hamill, by the way. I believe his name was Niju. Says, no, we must stay here. We cannot leave our land. We'll take what we need in order to survive. And of course he has this dumb pack behind him, or even dumber than the ones in the first one. There's an all dog reference in this movie. Just wanted to point that out. There's something insane about all dogs. But really, the main problem with this is that this whole spiritual thing, this whole spiritual and self-enlightenment thing of listening to the wind and beware of certain animals that will test you of your fear, of your knowledge and such, it doesn't feel right here. The supernatural elements in this movie doesn't feel right here. There's a scene where the wise wolf is fighting with Mark Hamill's character, and he disappears. And he's in a tree. He comes out of a tree, and Alu's like, how'd you do that? And he's like, oh, I just blended in with the tree. That doesn't fit here. This is not a supernatural film. This isn't... supernatural elements do not belong in a movie like Balto. I know someone out there saying, oh, Balto wasn't really half wolf. I know, but that's besides the point. Besides the whole spirit, supernatural, Indian tribal thing going on in this movie, which doesn't belong there, there are a lot of pointless things in it. Like, there's this one part where Alu meets up with this field mice, and this field mice is supposedly her spirit guide. Funny, seeing how we do not see him for the rest of the movie. He goes off, meets up with her, sings a song to her, and she figures out, are you my spirit guide? And he disappears completely from the film. Not helping her whatsoever. Cool. Not to mention, there's this character in the very beginning of the movie where this little scruffy little dog won't shut the hell up. They kick him away and we never see him again. New character, gone. Screw him. The reason why Balto 2, don't get me wrong, Balto 2 is a decent film. I think it's okay. It's an okay movie, but my problem is that it doesn't feel like the Balto sequel that we wanted. It doesn't feel anything like it. It just feels out about that in the first movie. Just sort of make fun of Balto for it. But in this one, they really go into detail about it, how he's part wolf and now his offspring must now lead the pack and such, or whatever like that. I will say though that the ending of it actually felt sort of sentimental, because I honestly did not see it coming. I'm like, oh, okay, that is actually kind of sad. Not so sad like, oh my god, why? But still like, huh, okay, that sucks. But I guess it's the right thing to do. But anyway, to put it in short, Balto 2 is an okay sequel, but it's not the Balto sequel that we were expecting. We want something like the first one, something exhilarating, something exciting. Instead, we got look into yourself sort of thing going on here. Well, listen to this, they're going to be disappointed with it. I'm pretty sure they were already disappointed with it. I guess the only thing to say about it is that they have new characters. Alu, of course, who became very popular afterwards because of the whole fandom that Balto has. All of your old favorite characters are back. Boris is back in it. Muck and Luck are back in it, and they're really the comic relief of it. Oh my god, there's an All Dogs reference in this movie. A freaking All Dogs reference I didn't even notice before until today. I just want to put that out there. So yeah, Balto 2 is a decent little sequel, but it doesn't feel like the sequel that Balto needed, or it should have been something more. It should have gone a completely different path from what they gave us. So, tune in next time when I take a look at Balto 3, and as some people may remember, I kind of bashed this movie, saying it was lackluster and all that, but you'll be very surprised at my new opinion, so stay tuned.